Batch Note Review with Aspatchy, XK, and Nidal.
Okay, so this is the Hecarim patch notes, and we're going to get started on Annie's change to Pyromania's stun.
I think, in effect, it's no change, right?
Pretty much. What, we got
So-
4 charges instead of 5.
So, but it still acts like you have to cast every 5 spells you get a stun, right?
Yeah, so it's just going to make level 1 easier.
Except level 1, you only have to cast...
4 spells.
Well, at level 1, you'd normally have to cast 6 spells until you got your stun, because you cast 5 to get the stun,
Right.
and then the 6th one would stun.
Yeah.
And now with this one, you cast 4 spells, the 5th one stuns, you cast another 4, the 5th stuns.
It just means you'll get out of the base faster if you're going for the W stun at level 1.
Yeah.
Can't really
So-
complain. What we've got next? Akali. Armour increase, health increase.
No, I don't want Akali buffs. Stop it.
What else have we got? Fixed bug with Shadow Dance.
I guess,
Doesn't really do anything. Fixed bug with Twilight Shower was not applying assists.
So it's just assists for... I'm assuming that you
the
wouldn't
slow.
get assists for the slow? Yeah. So slow assists and a little bit of a buff. It's not a massive buff. I mean, it's less than what you get from the defense tree, so...
Yeah.
But assists a little bit, I guess.
What we've got next? Gragas changing his recommended from tank to AP, I'm guessing.
Finally.
Hopefully that won't get any more 3-week Gragases going tank. It makes me cry.
Does.
Graves, fixed bug with collateral damage, could cost mana and go on cooldown without firing.
I'm assuming you'd sort of mid-cast you start moving and end up cancelling it, but it's still...
I actually haven't encountered that yet, so I guess it's fine for the people who actually have problems with that.
Well, the problem is
Well, yeah.
that it was in the game in the first place.
It's always a problem when you're losing mana for no effect.
And it's going on cooldown too. That's what it says. What else we got? Aurelia. Fixed a bug where Aurelia was reducing the duration of blinds and silences by too much.
That sounds
That's
like enough to me.
That's a passive.
Pretty
and
much.
then-
It's not really enough.
There's not really any blinds or passives.
Blinds,
blinds or passives.
Teemo.
Blinds or silencers.
Teemo, Talon, that's about it really, I guess. Sorry.
Ryan's just happy that he got to nerf Aurelia again.
Yeah.
Fixed a bug around failing to fire any extra transcendent blades. I don't know what that is, but it's fixed, so...
Yay!
What have we got
I'm
now?
so happy.
Jax, Relentless Assault.
Even
Passive
if
will
misses.
stack if he misses, so I'm guessing if he's blinded, he still gets the stacks.
I don't
I
know.
guess that's a
I
bit
don't
of a
know about
buff.
that. Yeah, it's a bit of a buff, I guess. Is that? Do you think that's right? Do you think that should happen?
That he gets stacks when he misses, or technically
Yeah.
not, because he's
I don't know. I don't think that should. You should keep stacking it up if you miss. I think it should reset.
Mm,
I guess technically no, but I guess for Jax players there's going to be... Like,
yeah, I guess
a
he
buff.
got the pretty big nerf.
he's not in the strongest
No,
place, is he?
it's not a nerf, was it? It was a redesign, essentially, because of the dodge.
He still doesn't feel as strong as he once was, though, does he? So.
No.
Karma, fixed a bug where Mantra's recharge time wouldn't update with new ranks or cooldown reduction until reaching both charges.
They're the same thing with the Akali, essentially.
I guess so. So that's...
Any
Really
idea when the
significant.
Karma remake's coming?
Gwynto said on his Twitter that it was ready, but I'm guessing it
So
will
sort
hit
of
with the
maybe-
next patch with
Maybe. With, what's the name of the new hero after Hecarim?
Varys?
Varys, the archer guy. But we'll see what happens with him. What now? Kale, so we've got some buffs to the heal.
So they're all flat increases, aren't they?
Just so we've got
no, except the mana cost, I guess.
the mana cost go up as well, so you can't turn it to
Yeah,
Srak
heal
bot.
gets, what's that? 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 increase.
Yeah, I guess it's okay.
And then move speed is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 increase.
Yeah, and then 0.5 on the duration.
Oh, duration's nice. It never seemed to last that long.
I guess
So-
it's an okay buff, but I just think she's not on the same level as most bot supports are.
No,
Yeah, I don't think she should be played as support, really. I don't... She
That
doesn't
is-
seem aggressive enough to be a support, really. She sort of...
Well,
That has
you
always
either
been
have
the
to be
question.
really aggressive or really passive like Soraka, but you can't do either. As
can't really afford to be
she has a middle
passive.
ground.
And the aggressive, it doesn't come out as well as other more aggressive supports, like, I guess, Lulu or Sona or one of the melee ones.
Overall, she just seems to be better in the top lane with the
Yeah.
AD.
There was a point where, what was it, Dyrus said that he could lane in any position as Kayle. He had-
I
Kao's
guess you
good. It's
could.
just people aren't willing to pick her up and say, I'm going to go solo because I can carry. They just don't have...
Mm.
As long as people stop buying Nashor's Tooth, we should be alright.
Yeah, so the cost was increased as well, I guess.
So we might see a bit more support Kayle.
Maybe.
Cogmore no longer regenerates health in a caffeine surprise. Well,
That's not much.
that's
You're going to lose it anyway,
I think
so...
that's a real nerf to Cog's after game health regen. Really, I think he should probably be building
should have a health bar when he's...
4 or 5. You know, pre this patch, I would be building 4 or 5 Philo stones so I could get as much health regen before I died again.
Yeah. The next thing we're going to see is Spellvamp Carthus coming back to life after he uses Zol. Alright, what have we got? Janna, so we've got some Janna nerfs. Howling Gale's going to have less of a knock-up unless it's fully charged.
I guess that de-incentivizes you from just
Double-clicking the Q,
yeah.
which is what will happen anyway, but it'll just be less effective than it once was.
Yeah, maximum time she can channel it for.
2 seconds, so it's saying it's got...
Okay, so it's 80 to 100 rather than just having the
Yeah, so it's-
maximum 100.
Yeah, so it's 80% of what it was, and then 10%. So it's okay, but it's not going to change any
It's only
Janna play
really
styles.
useful when combined with a Blitzcrank knock-up in order to launch someone into orbit.
Probably.
Alright, well, it's got Monsoon, mana cost decreased. It's going to be
Mana cost
nice,
is nice.
early game, or all
Knockback
game.
distance.
Knockback distance reduced.
I don't think that will have a huge effect to
Not really. I mean,
the defensive aspect, but I think it will be.
100,
It'll still
100
have-
unit, 125 units.
Yeah, I mean, it's melee attack range. It's not a massive amount. I mean, it'll be useful for.
You just use it to get people off your carry.
Yeah,
So,
it's just to throw everyone away and anti-initiate. So I don't think it really matters how far you throw them away. It's still just the anti-initiate tool.
well, maybe it will matter, like, on a rare occasion, but it's going to be so rare that you won't even notice it's there.
yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got? Leona, Sunlight Particle.
Yeah!
I guess that's.
So this is
nice.
just
Zenith Blade hitbox increased slightly. It's probably a couple of units.
those two are just what basically just animation increased
Yeah, and then
animation fixes.
we've got the bugs where Cogmores keep dying twice, which has been in the game for God knows how long now.
It's not quite as bad as Yorick's bug, but there you go.
Yeah. What else we got? Lulu. Display error on Lulu's passive now correctly states how much damage Pix is doing. Well, I guess that's useful.
These two fix a bug where Lulu could remain helping ally after it had returned to her, and fix a bug where Lulu was taking damage credit when Pix was aiding ally. I think that was what was stealing creeps. I think it was stealing creeps.
Well, it can
can't-
steal creeps, but it's pretty rare if you just think about it. Look,
I'm not
usually-
entirely sure how it worked because I'm pretty sure I've last hitted before with the Pix on me, and it's done the final hit, but it hasn't gone to either of the support or the AD carry. So I'm not sure.
Usually-
that's what I saw, at least. I'm not sure.
Usually what would happen is like, for example, you put it on your AD carry, and he auto-attacked a creep, then Pix would fire the 3 bolts, and if you were unlucky and the creep was low enough after the auto-attack, the Pix would kill it, and the credit would go to you, which
Yeah.
could be annoying, but you're gonna have to assume that your
least now-
AD carry can last hit.
Well, it's generally it's only ever happened sort of early game where you'd have sort of like 2 or 3 less AD than you needed to last hit something, and Pix would take it.
But it could cost you a kill early game as well, couldn't it, really? So,
Yeah, I guess you get the assist.
It makes sense that
kill.
the damage credit's given to the person that's auto-attacking, so...
Yeah.
Right, we've got plenty more bug fixes now. We've got Lux, Lucent Singularity, so that's a AoE ball. Cooldown was 11 instead of 10.
It's a pretty
So,
buff nerf. I don't know. Who cares?
it's buff, it's what, just slightly local. I mean, we don't see many Luxes now anyway. Malphite fixed the bug where seismic shards movement speed was lost if the target died. Well,
Comments.
there you have it. There's nothing to say
Should we have
about
a
that.
pie?
There's nothing to say about that. We're not going to see any more Malphites because of it. Misfortune fixed the bug where effects like Guardian Angel broke strut until she died and respawned.
That was a deserved bug. I hate that passive.
Yeah. I don't know why you got Guardian Angel in your Misfortune anyway, so...
Well, I guess on the rare
Don't mind
occasion,
you doing
if
it
you
wrong.
get late game.
Fixed a bug where Mordekaiser could cause minions to attack themselves.
Oh, that was
Mordekaiser.
that was hilarious. You have to stick a video to that in the comments. That was great.
Golems.
Golems don't like each other.
What else have we got? Oriana's getting a mana cost reduction on a command attack, so that's the
That'd be
moving
quite
of
nice.
the ball.
If you don't get donated blue buff, it could be quite nice.
Even if you do, she has such a crap mana base, and since the blue
Yeah,
buff
fair.
nerf, everyone's hurting. So
I just think that this is gonna matter like a lot. I say a lot, but it's not gonna matter that much. But I mean, if you think about it, Oriana moves the ball around the entire time, and that's 20
Yeah,
mana
well, I mean, it's
each time.
you end up like at level 9, you get an extra cast every 3 you would have done because it's 200 mana for 4 casts rather than 210 for 3 casts. So,
which is nice, I guess.
which it's quite a sizable amount of damage that it does.
And it also shows that Riot realise that she's not getting picked as much, and that more buffs could be on the way if this doesn't do enough.
Yeah, it's just always nice to see them sort of do the little things to try and push champions back into the favoured.
Right, what have we got now? Sejuani getting some mana cost reductions, which should be good. So she can donate blue more viably now. What's
And
that?
roughly what 20, 15, 10 seconds off roll.
That'd be nice. But I don't know if you'll notice it that much.
I guess it will help in sort of situations where you go, oh man, my ult was 10 seconds. Why did the team go in? What the fuck's noob?
But now people are just gonna say that the 19 seconds cooldown. It's cooldown reductions are always odd. If it's a big cooldown reduction, then yes, then it's a big change. But if it's small, you barely notice it because what's 10 seconds? Sometimes it's a lot, but most of the times it's just 10 seconds.
It's a bit clutch, really. So
Yeah, well, either way you're going to wait for it, but it's nice to have it on cooldown, I guess. Next we've got Swain getting a tiny buff for Ravenous
well, I
Flock.
don't know. It's just a pretty sizable buff in turn. It's about it's more than 20% at max. So, yeah, it's not.
Yeah, but I mean,
Too bad.
by the time it's going to be significant, you've left your ult on for too long anyway.
I guess.
And then we've got basic attack frame, speed increased.
So more responsive auto attack.
Yeah, it's probably what they did to Cogmore back in the day,
I
and
guess
helps you last
more
hit a
like
bit better.
LeBlanc than Rise.
Yeah, Teemo. Freak's been going on about these buffs for
Oh,
the
boy.
last month.
Teemo.
I don't like
Freak loves him some Teemo.
Right. Move quick cooldown reduced 17 seconds from 22. Probably unnecessary.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's needed really, because the
Move
one
fast
thing
more
about
often.
Teemo is every
can't
time he
catch
gets
him.
ganked, he runs away.
Because he goes at
A rather
600
longer
move speed.
shot, to be honest.
Fixed a bug where Noxus recharge time wouldn't update at new ranks. It's the same thing with Akali's Salt and stuff, wasn't it?
Yep.
So it's just a blanket sort of. It's not a buff. It's just bug fix. And then we got the Teemo's toxic shot buff.
It's a buff, but I could see situations where it wouldn't be quite as violent. How long does toxic shot last? Do you know?
What the actual duration of the buff, or debuff even?
Because it could so happen that... Wait a second, I've got it up here. So it lasts 4 seconds.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that would be presumably 4 ticks of damage in the
Yeah.
system.
So you got the 4 ticks and the initial 1 hit.
That is.
Yeah, but this could potentially mean that, I guess... Will it now tick every
It's
second?
basically, it wasn't
Oh,
ticking
yeah.
when you were auto-attacking, you were only getting the on-hit damage. So now you'll get the on-hit damage and the dot damage.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see potentially situations where you might get a little bit less damage if you're attacking
How does that
at
work?
sort of just below the threshold. If you've got an attack speed of 0.9, you could potentially get a little bit less damage.
Oh well,
How
but
so?
Don't think
still,
it-
doesn't really matter that much. The basic point is Timo gets more damage.
Yeah, which you
Yeah.
really didn't need, but I guess it's a bug fix, so... Right, Tristana will now attempt to immediately attack champions targeted by explosive or
Um,
buster shot.
Harassing ads are quite a bit easier.
It's going to
'Cause
be
at the
quite
moment-
handy.
To manually E and then click them.
Indeed, it's going to be quite handy for the E, not so much for the ult, because most of the time
Unless you're holding them into a wall.
you're probably just going to shoot them away from you. So, yeah, that's not going to be that handy. But for explosive shot, certainly
It's just a usability buff, isn't it, really?
it is. It's
Which
just
is
a minor
nice.
thing.
Vlad fixed a bug where Vlad could occasionally be hit by projectiles while in Sanguine Pool.
God,
Well, I haven't seen that, but that would be quite frustrating to get hit by a tower or something.
More troll pulling.
Yep. Yorick fixed a bug where Ravenous Ghoul failed to heal if he hadn't yet leveled up Decaying Ghoul. Not quite sure what that's
Yeah,
about.
I'm not quite sure how that works. So it didn't heal him if he didn't...
He said the actual, because the Ghoul's auto attacks heal him, so he needed to level up another ability. Oh, I don't know. That's minor. It's
Yeah.
fixed now. Ziggs fixed a bug where explosives minefield slow effect was displayed higher than intended. I
That's
think
only
it was
if
just yeah.
it's
So it was
not actually any change, it's just a tooltip
No.
change by the look of it.
Zillion getting some mana cost reductions, which would be nice because no one ever has mana to use his ult early game.
That's actually quite a
pretty,
bit of
pretty
reduction.
significant. That's what 75 mana less. That's quite a bit.
That's an extra time bomb you can throw in there.
Yeah, it's a new reduced time warp that you can throw in with the mana you save.
No, I mean, his bombs are... You can actually do a lot with 75... 5
Yeah, it's a pretty reasonable amount.
It is reasonable. Is it going to make support Zillion viable, though?
I don't think so, really.
Support Zillion doesn't work as a just in like mid and stuff though, because we see a bit of Zillion mid every now and again. It'll be you won't have to save up as much mana, which means it's going to be less predictable when you're going to go for a suicide on someone
Mhm.
to get the kill. Well, now we've got some item changes. The biggest one being the Atmos Impaler nerf of 0.5.
Yeah, it's going to be...
I don't know.
Well, it's a 25% nerf to the Atmogs combo, so...
Yeah, well, I mean,
I guess
it's just Atmos is just a ridiculous item overall.
It
isn't
does lower the damage you get, but I don't know if that was really needed. I never felt that going Agmox was like overpowered in any way.
Not necessarily overpowered, but having a crap ton of health
I
and a
think-
crap ton of damage.
Yeah. Atmog sort of encourages a playstyle that's a bit... I don't know, it's not a great...
Farm
Play-
all
yeah.
day.
Yeah, but the problem is you farm 3k for your Warmogs and then farm another 2.5k to get your Atmos, and then you've farmed up most of... What is that, 6k gold you've got to have had by then because you need boosts as well when you haven't done anything. It's really boring item build.
Yeah, you do nothing, and then you get all your damage from the Atmos.
Agreed.
Yeah. Doran's health being reduced
That's
by 20.
interesting. I'm not entirely sure how it will affect, because I mean, sort of everyone generally gets, 2 Dorans and a Vamp Scepter, 3 Dorans maybe?
Yeah, I see a lot of people
And-
go Dorans just to get some extra health, because it gives survivability and everything you need. But now they're going to take away 20 health. I think
Yeah,
that's
it's,
going to discourage stacking Dorans.
I think we'll still see it until someone comes up with a better alternative. Just putting it out there. 3 Vamp Scepters, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, you never know. We might just see that.
The Doran's Ring could potentially mean that we see Catalyst more as well.
That could be quite nice because ROA's. This is a couple of niche heroes that you get it on, and or if you're behind, which it sets you more behind. Which is like getting the Wriggles as the bot lane. If you're behind, it just doesn't really work.
Hex Drinker, I assume that applies to more Malmortius as well?
I think the more Mortius was already. I can't even say it.
Okay.
Was it that? That's basically just going to help you against Carthus. That's it. Really.
Carthus. It's a pretty good buy against bursty champs, I guess you could
It's
say.
quite nice against the Warwick top that seems to be
that's
flavour of the year at the moment.
It can save your life. It can. And now you have
It can.
2 extra seconds that
Hex
can save your
Drinker.
life.
It will save your life.
Get
If
it
you
now.
do percentage-wise, that's what 66% buff duration.
Yeah,
So that's a fair bit.
Reasonable
It's a
stuff.
fair bit.
Wits End, 150 more gold cost.
So, maybe
I guess it's because it's getting picked up so often by everyone.
Warwick's, Teemos, I guess.
Yeah. Do mind that it's
Maybe
just
it's,
a combined
maybe it's
cost.
just like a preemptive nerf because everyone's going to be playing Teemo now. Thanks,
Probably.
Freak.
God damn, team. Last Wisp Shop is a pickaxe upgrade. It makes it easier to buy in the shop, I guess.
Yeah.
Rather than having to go through
I
your
always-
Infinity Edge.
I always navigate by upgrades. Pickaxe would never show Last Whisper
Yep.
as an upgrade. It would always
It shows a Tiamat instead.
yeah, Tiamat. Great. I want 5 of those.
Needs more TMS.
Yeah. So if you didn't have Wits End as a recommended item, you'd have to go into the attack thing and then go through that way.
Last Whisper is recommended. Which ends the attack speed.
Shut up.
Either way, right. General, champion and gold rewards and...
I don't know how this will work because I mean, it'll mean that jumping on a support isn't really going to be worth it.
Well, it's
But it
still
means
worth it, but it won't.
Support's getting kill credits
But
going to be the big
The
change,
supports
isn't it?
will be higher levels, so
If you
I think-
think about it in a roundabout way, I think this is just a support buff.
Well, yeah, it's a
it'll
support
also
buff on
help.
junglers.
I think it will help. Oh yeah, junglers of course, because they'll be coming in for the ganks, and that would.
You could snowball a lot if you were level 5 as Sharko and you ganked mid when they were level 6.
But the
just-
thing is, because you're going to be that much higher level, this patch is also going to mean that if your laner doesn't pay attention, or you get counter ganked and you die, then you could potentially give like the lane. If you're three levels above the lane, you could potentially give the laner like an entire level worth of XP.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's what they said about the elastic banding thing, wasn't it? They didn't want teams to die a couple of times and then overtake them with one good team fight. So we'll have to see how it
Yeah.
plays out. It doesn't actually say numbers. It just says more experience.
Yeah, more and less. So
So hopefully it just means we won't have a level 9 support end game anymore. Maximum bounty for killing a champion increased by 100 gold from 5 to 600.
It's quite a few health potions there.
Yeah, it's at least 3 health. Well, nearly 3 health pods.
Yeah. Still not the old 1,000 gold that it used to be
That's
back
ridiculous,
to.
man.
Yep. Experience split.
What's that? Less than 4.5%. I mean, it's a little bit. Yeah,
It's just try and make ganks more rewarding.
yeah. I guess it
What have we got
combo
now?
with the increases as well.
Yeah, HP and mana regen rates are on the bars. It's just following suit of Dota 2 and
Yeah,
one
so-
that's already done it.
Pretty nice UI.
It is pretty
Yeah.
useful.
It is. It's one of those minor things, but you really like it when it's there.
Yeah, so you
Sure.
don't have to spam C to look for it.
Yeah, and it could be pretty game breaking mid if you want to wait for your mana regen for a certain amount of mana or something. But I don't know. You could time it, but it's just a nice thing to have, I guess. But the thing is, regen rates on here aren't as important as they are on other MOBAs. So
Yeah, other MOBAs tend to have a lot faster regen.
You do have to take this
Yeah.
into account. If you're playing a tank and you have a force nature, you just want to know how much health you're regenerating.
Oh yeah,
You
of
just
course.
want to know that. You want to see that big fat number.
You want
in
to
the
see
corner.
how many more warmogs you can get before your health regen starts coming up above your head.
Yes, indeed.
what else? We've got minion health bars toggle bound to control L instead of L for
That I've done
people
that
with
before.
fat hands.
Hey, leave my hands alone. I thought I pressed enter to type something, but I haven't, and I've ended up like burning all my summoners and stuff. And then to make it worse, I pressed L, and then I can't last hit because I have no idea how much health the minions have, so I have to work through the menus to try and get that. But now I know it's Control L, so it won't happen accidentally.
I do actually have a question I mean, why would you toggle off minion health bars? Why would you do it?
Essentially for like
recording.
Yeah, recording purposes, I guess.
I guess it's only for recording purposes, unless you're MLG Pro and just turn off minion health bars when there's a team fight going on. Because
work out the health by the number of projectiles that they've taken.
Math. Just do math.
Yeah. Well, what else have we got?
Maths as
Monster regeneration sigils give 10 more mana from 13 up to 40. So I guess
like junglers, I guess.
It's because the mana junglers aren't as strong when because it's all in a donate metagame, isn't it? So you need to give that blue buff to your mid as soon as you can. So it's going to help all the mana junglers at the moment, like Maokai, Nautilus, and
Sticks.
Moo Moo jungle is awful at the moment.
Yeah,
it needs some
gives
work.
A couple more ticks.
Floating status text, snared. That's all to do with the combat. The animated combat text, is it? Which we'll come to.
Well, no, this is.
Or is this separate
things
from
that
that?
were just missing it. So like,
right.
you got stunned or whatever it's called by Cassiopeia. It wouldn't come up as stunned.
Would it come up as stoned? That would be good.
Kick him out of the call.
Right. Fix another bug causing double kills against people really don't like Cogmore, do they?
Just the game mechanics don't like Cogmore.
No. Added the rules for making a summoner named summoner creation screen when new accounts log in to PvPnet.
You need to have at least 3 X's in front of your name to make it sound cool.
Yeah, something like that. As long as you don't call yourself Frank 8 Lampard, it should be alright.
Or XX Sergeant Bag Kid.
Yeah, right. The animated combat text, I'm quite looking forward to this. Should be interesting to... Should be able to not have to do maths to work out how much damage you're doing.
So, physical damage is in red, magic damage is purple, and true damage is white.
It'd be interesting what that's like on colourblind mode, though.
That's a good point.
Oh my. I didn't think of that.
It's going to be like yellow,
You'd
green,
never think of the colourblind people as.
I never do.
So selfish.
I'm sorry.
Legacy damage text can be enabled.
I have seen some of this though, and it looks quite cool. It's slightly reminiscent of how one of the settings you could have on WoW, where it sort of come ups and then curves out.
I thought the healing's in green as well, and they said that they're going off in all different directions, aren't they? So you can tell.
So it's just going to be one big sparkly fest now.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. Added animation status text for CC effects and immunities.
Yeah, death
cannot be slowed.
Color based with this red, purple, white, I presume.
That'll help. Interface options reworked to support them. Oh, okay. Well, that's gonna.
So now when Master Yi is running away, it cannot be slowed. It's just going to fly in every direction or something.
Fixed a bug where damage text would linger on the screen.
I think that's when sort of like you'd hover over to mid and like Nidalee would have like 3 or 4 heals over her head.
Nice. Announcement system. I've seen this in the Summoner Spotlight, and that looks interesting.
I'm not entirely sure about it because they look massive.
The actual font.
Do.
Yeah, it's like
first blood all over the screen.
First blood, and it's like half the screen taken up, and you can't. Like anyone that starts playing on bottom left is going to be at a major disadvantage because they won't be able to see their lane part.
But guess it's psychological warfare.
What, being blind?
No, you're just gonna have first blood all over the screen, and you're gonna be like, yeah. People are gonna be happy.
Happens to you, and then you go like, oh,
probably.
Yeah. A single tear rolls down my cheek.
Right, we've got the PvP net features now. Added first win the day status to Summoner profile, which LoL Replay was already doing and I've been using. So I don't know why Riot's taking so long, but you know. Search function for custom games.
Alright, fair enough.
No one plays custom games apart from all
pretty handy if you want to play all random.
All random or zeal.
Oh, please don't. Alright, mastery page stored server. I don't know why they weren't stored server side anyway. It's just going to be a pain for everyone that's already got their 10 mastery pages and have to put them all onto the servers.
I guess it's good for people who actually play League of Legends on different computers. a lot of the time, or if you just go to your friend's house
Or
and do it
if
there.
I can imagine it will be like
For tournaments, it'd make more sense. wouldn't
tournaments, yeah, and like people that play on what do you call it?
LAN parties?
Oh, the internet cafes.
Yeah, internet cafes, because then they won't have to be constantly doing that.
I guess. Yeah, that's actually a fair point.
Thank you.
Good
Az.
players can do their mastery pages in 4 seconds anyway, so
Well,
it doesn't really matter.
folded upside down using one hand and 1 foot.
Do it with your nose.
Wide.
Yeah, right. We've got, we've got runes now. This is the sort of the fight in mid about whether you should be using offensive or defensive runes.
So magic resist
Getting a
glyph
little nerf.
marks have been reduced by 20. They weren't primary. They were
Secondary, yeah.
glyphs. Magic resist glyphs have been reduced by 10%. They were primary, and then magic resist quints have been reduced by 11.1%. So
Yeah,
that
I think overall it was, if you have a completely flat magic resist page, it used to be 42, now it's 38, so it's a pretty insignificant buff. But
well, that's including everything.
that's if you have everything. But I mean, sort of, it
I mean,
might give
what
you.
the real thing was, people would end up with, I think it was 22 magic resist, because they wouldn't take magic pen on their reds. They'd just take magic resist.
Well,
So that's why I think they focused on reds.
Or trying to get the magic pen being used.
Yeah.
This nerf is really aimed at people who like to max out the potential with the runes. It's a minor thing, but it's still there.
No,
It's
it's,
still there,
more,
and
it's
it's
more
making
to give you
more-
more options.
I like the
It
buff
opens up more
on the
options.
on the magic pen blues. And that's 20%, because magic pen blues were pretty insignificant. I mean, they were about 0.6, so they'll be about 0.7, a little bit over
Yep.
that now. So they'll probably be pretty worth it. Same
Yep.
thing with the quints. They're up by 15% for magic pen.
Also, is that flat AP glyphs there? Glyph of potency. They're going up by 20%.
Yes.
So they'll be about 1.2 each now.
Those are blues. Is that
Yeah, because they used to be 0.99, wasn't it, or something like that. And
Okay.
that'll be nice, I guess. Try and get people to play more aggressive in mid, which will be nice.
yeah.
I guess I don't know who's the biggest users of Magic Pen. Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser's just going to win mid now.
I guess someone that doesn't have to rely on AP would be quite happy with this change.
I guess people like Vega and all that, you might see more Magic Pen
Yeah,
on
maybe.
them because they already
Vladimir.
have enough damage.
Vladimir could work with Magic Pen. Of course, you could always go ability power and get the extra health, but Magic
Yeah,
Pen is
but-
also viable, sort of.
I just don't want to be going up against people with starting with a Negatron cloak. Really, that's basically what it was.
Yeah, essentially.
Co-op AI. I don't think anyone plays those, but Scion and Vlad bot. So Scion's going to stun you while you hit in the brush.
Oh, reducing the amount of tower diving. That's just no fun. That's what bots were made for.
Bot.
That wasn't
Vladimir
that
bot
wasn't tower
pulling.
diving. They were just feeding the tower at certain points in the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. There's nothing really significant in there, but
They get assists, they get elixirs once they're done being fed. They don't randomly run towards your spawn on occasion.
that's nice, I guess.
And you can add bots to custom Dominion games.
And then we've got the big part of this patch is obviously Hecarim coming out.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the new jungle / top hero, I'm guessing. So start with his passive. We get between 10 and 25% based on level of how much his move speed is as attack damage.
Please don't stack seals. Please don't stack seals. Please.
Look,
So
on
you-
stack seals, you're gonna go boots of mobility and 5 phantom dances.
I mean, it finishes at level 15. Say you've got about 400 move speed. That's 100 attack damage. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. I mean, you're not going to
That's-
have any less than, 300? So it's a guaranteed
I'm guessing
75 AD.
it synergizes with his abilities as well. I mean, if you're probably going to be running a little bit of ARP and then some flat AD
And
too
if
because
you
of his
use
ratios.
if you use Ghost to initiate,
Well, it depends. I mean, he's going to be using his ult to initiate by the looks of it.
true, but like in the
Does
early
mean-
levels,
Yeah, no,
ganks,
Az makes a good point. You could be using Ghost
Yeah, I
instead of
guess
Black
Ghost is.
for ganks or whatever, because it'll give you.
It's not going to be massive.
Yeah,
but it
maybe
will
a
give
little
you a
bit more.
boost.
Yeah.
It'll give you more than everyone else gets from it. Right, we've got his Q, Rampage. So active, he cleaves nearby enemies, dealing physical damage, half to minions and monsters. The interesting thing about this is the more you use it, the lower the cooldown. So it starts off at 4, and you can get it down to a 2-second cooldown if you keep using it.
That's pretty interesting. That's a very spammable skill, especially in the middle of battle. If you can actually charge it up before a battle, you can just go and slice everything up.
Should make jungle in a breeze. It's got a 0.6 ratio, so it's going to be fairly solid.
It's a reasonable rate. Well, it's a better ratio for AD.
Yep. Right, his W, Spirit of Dread. Hecarim surrounds himself with the Spirit of Dread for 4 seconds, dealing magic damage per second to all enemies within its reach. Additionally, he gets healed for a percentage of damage enemies within the area take from any source, which is the important thing. Healing from damage dealt to minions is capped per minion.
See,
I think they want to encourage like a damage dealing build instead of going full on tank, just because you have something that actually can heal you.
Well, personally, I think this is Riot's way of telling us that they want us to be playing AP Hecarim, because this has got an 0.8 AP ratio at the max.
Well, his ult's got AP ratio as well, so I mean, I'm guessing people are going to be picking up stuff like Triforce on him.
Well, somebody's certainly going to try it.
I mean, Triforce has got what? He's got move speed, and
That's a good
he's
point.
got everything else, doesn't it? He's spammy, so the Sheen has a 2-second cooldown, Rampage will have a 2-second cooldown, so he's got some synergy there, so it could be quite interesting. I think the heal ratio, I don't think that's going to be 30% at top rank for a long time.
No, that seems really quite... If you have someone like... Well, say you have like an AD carry and like...
Imagine a Galio or something
Yeah.
like that. You're going to heal like your entire health base.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. I'd have to see it in action to actually judge it, because
Yeah,
it looks
I'm-
very strong on paper, but I'm quite sure that Riot's not gonna make something like, oh, if everybody in your team does shit tons of damage, you're just gonna heal all your health in no time. I don't think they would be silly enough to do that,
Although
Yeah,
they've
but-
done it in the past.
although they've
We'll
done it
see.
in the past.
not necessarily that, but yeah, we'll see what happens. The minion healing cap's obviously important, because otherwise he's going to be ridiculous, but that combined with his Q is going to make him a good jungler, and his E is going to give him the capability to gank. Devastating charge. Hecarim gains increasing move speed for 4 seconds, which gives him damage because of his passive. His next attack knocks the target back, dealing physical damage based on how far Hecarim's travelled during the duration of the spell.
So it has a variable AD ratio from 0.5 at the minimum damage. I assume that's just if you immediately hit into someone.
I do think,
So
however,
to a 1 AD ratio if you've charged the distance you need.
However, I do think that one of the biggest parts of devastating charge is going to be that knockback. If you can get in behind them and knock them back, like in the direction of your tower, that
bearing
could
in
be
mind
something.
he can run through them. So if he's got this on, he can run through them because he ignores unit collision and then just knock them back.
It's a pretty interesting. If you can pull it off, of course. If you're
He's got a nice amount of synergy, surprisingly, because some heroes are lacking in that. So, and we've got his ultimate, Onslaught of Shadows, introducing the new mechanic of Flee. So he summons spectral riders and charges forwards, dealing magic damage to anyone they strike. And then, after he reaches his location, he deals additional damage, and then everyone flees in terror for 1 second.
So flee is essentially
You
a
run
non-
directly away.
a non-random version of fear.
indeed.
Yeah.
So it just... So does it... If you have, say, a team standing in a circle and you ult in the middle of them, will they all run
They should all run in separate directions.
outwards? Okay.
They would.
Yeah.
It will be pretty interesting because, you can run through people, and if you
Yeah, you
activate
can
that behind
essentially
them, you
charge
can
it.
actually drive them back into your team if you're in the position to do so.
So you could... It essentially work as an Urgot ult of you pushing them back and you charging forwards.
Sort of. Then again, it's 1 second. You're gonna have to
Yeah, it
be
is
a
only
really
1 second.
good team to utilize that 1 second.
Well, hopefully
Yeah, but
they're
I mean-
not so blind that they don't notice the massive rush of horsemen charging down mid.
But Team CC is Team CC at the end of the day, and it's going to be really strong.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's going to either be a jungler, or it depends how he copes with counter jungle. It's hard to tell until you see him in action. His ganks will be devastating. And team fights, he should be a pretty good initiator, which is nice.
Yeah, certainly. In addition to that, his ult just looks gorgeous. It's amazing. Looks good.
I'll be interested to see how the W affects him in the jungle, because while it's capped, it could potentially mean that he stays pretty high health around the jungle.
Well, I mean, what's that? Even at rank 1, he's going to get 240 healing from Raves.
However, I do think this is going to be like one of those Skarner issues. Like, people would go maxing heal first, the heal from Skarner. But you're probably better off with something else. Maybe it's going to be one of those things.
Yeah, it's hard. I think in teamfights it'll be too strong, but it's whether or not it's worth getting early on, or if it's going to be more of a late game teamfight thing.
So for reference, for his jungle, all of his skills, his W costs. Well, he's got a base mana of 210. His Q costs 25. His W costs 50 at rank 1, and his E costs 60. So, mana issues maybe.
Perhaps, but generally you get a blue buff on the first run, depending on who your mid is. But either way, it's going to be his Q that lets him clear it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
His W might help him.
But the fact that he uses mana may mean that he's not able to donate
be as good a jungler as others.
Likes.
Yeah. I think it might just be the first one, as long as he doesn't end up like Trundle, because Trundle has awful mana issues. It'll be interesting to see.
Yes.
But either way, I think he's going to be the new Aurelia of top lane.
Maybe. Maybe.
I think he's just going to be insane.
It's just going to depend on how people are going to counter him. If somebody can find a viable or easy counter, he's just going to be destroyed.
Tristana for the healing reduction.
Yeah,
for example, I mean, if you put Tristana,
he's going to get ignited all day, isn't he?
He is.
He's going to be the new Mundo, just ignite.
Unless you're going to go Mundo Hecarim.
I could see a very, very nasty Mundo jungle in this guy top. That could be quite not nice.
Yeah, I mean, you get slowed all day. He gets slowed. He runs through you.
Are we just going to build a Mundo Warwick Hecarim team then?
No, you're going to get move speed Quints instead of AD, because it probably gives you more.
That's a good point, actually.
Probably going to have AD reds, army yellows, and then blues. Premium magic was per level pretty generic.
Just choice.
And you're probably going to be going either defensive or utility. Cause you probably want, I don't know. It depends if the move speed is that important. But he seems pretty sort of based around. I think he's probably going to be a 921-0 page.
What do you predict of his jungle roots? I think maybe starting out at red wouldn't be that bad of a decision if you pick Devastating Charge early on.
I think if you take Rampage early on, you could potentially...
You want to go Rampage level 1, then you can do red buff, and then get Devastating Charge from that and gank a lane level 2.
Yes,
should be
indeed.
You could probably start with... You could probably start with boots if you runed properly and got a reasonable help. Which would be quite nice, because that's giving you more damage. And
yeah.
He seems like a well-rounded hero, though. If maybe that heal ratio might be a little bit strong, but we'll see how it plays out. It only lasts 4 seconds. It does have 14-second cooldown, so it doesn't have a massive amount of uptime.
As long as it isn't toggleable.
Permanent. Yeah, we should be alright. So, I think that's everything covered. I think we've got some new skins. Obviously got 2 Hecarim skins and a Shen skin coming out soon.
No Teemo skins?
Samurai Shen. No, I don't think. I hope.
I think they're gonna ninja add a Teemo skin.
They might do.
Just
the ninja and the Shen skin, because it's not in the patch.
2 or 3.
Needs more Teemo skins.
But I think that covers everything. There's nothing we've missed.